Steelers Nation, the front office is making moves and big decisions are looming that could shape the future of the franchise. The Steelers are leaving no stone unturned in their pursuit of success, whether it's at the quarterback position or solidifying the receiving core. And today we've got some exclusive updates on not one but two major storylines. Could the Steelers bring in another veteran quarterback? And what does the future hold for George Pickens? You're not going to want to miss this. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. All right, let's get into it. The quarterback market is heating up, and Steelers fans, we have another name to keep an eye on. The Las Vegas Raiders are expected to part ways with veteran quarterback Gardner Minshew. According to multiple reports, Minshew's release would free up $9 million in salary cap space for Vegas. Now the question is, should the Steelers take a look at him? Minshew, who signed a 2-year, $25 million contract last offseason, had a rough 2024 campaign with the Raiders. He threw for just 2,013 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions before suffering a season-ending broken collarbone in Week 11. Not exactly his best season, but let's not forget, just a year prior with the Colts, Minshew threw for 305 yards and 15 touchdowns, proving that he can be an efficient game manager. Now, let's be real, Minshew isn't coming in to be the Steelers' next franchise QB. Pittsburgh has its eyes set on either re-signing Russell Wilson or making a move for Justin Fields. But if Wilson walks and the team doesn't land Fields, could Minshew be a valuable backup option? Let's not forget that the Steelers had their fair share of quarterback struggles last season, and having a reliable veteran could be crucial. What do you think, Steelers Nation? Should the front office consider bringing in Minshew as a depth piece, or should they focus their efforts elsewhere? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's talk about one of the most electrifying players on the Steelers roster, George Pickens. The Steelers' young star receiver is heading into the final year of his rookie contract, and speculation is swirling about his future in Pittsburgh. Will the team extend him? Could a trade be in play? Well, we've got some insight straight from GM Omar Khan, and it's worth paying attention to. Speaking at the NFL Combine, Khan addressed Pickens' future, saying, "I had a really solid exit meeting with GP. I can tell you he has a desire to be great and to be great here. We have a desire for him to be great and to be great here." Now that sounds promising, but Khan made it clear that contract negotiations are not being discussed publicly and will be handled at a later date. So what's the holdup? Well, it's complicated. Pickens is coming off another strong season, finishing with 900 yards and 3 touchdowns despite missing time with a hamstring injury. He's one of the most talented receivers in the league, no question about it. But here's the concern, his maturity and attitude. We've seen Pickens rack up fines, get into a scuffle with Browns cornerback Greg Newsome too, and even show up late to the Steelers' Week 17 game against the Chiefs. That kind of behavior raises red flags when you're talking about handing out a long-term, big-money contract. The Steelers have a history of moving on from receivers who bring distractions to the locker room. We've seen it with Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, and Antonio Brown. So will Pickens follow in their footsteps, or is he part of the long-term plan? Insiders believe that Pittsburgh is looking to solidify the WR2 spot this offseason to take some pressure off Pickens. Names like Deebo Samuel, Christian Kirk, and Keenan Allen have been floated as potential targets. If the Steelers add a strong complementary receiver, it gives them more leverage in contract negotiations with Pickens, meaning they won't be desperate to overpay if things don't work out. So what's the most likely scenario? As it stands, it seems like Pickens will play out his 2025 season in Pittsburgh, and the front office will reassess afterward. The idea of a trade isn't completely off the table, but unless another team blows the Steelers away with an offer, expect Pickens to be in black and gold for at least one more season. One thing's for sure. The Steelers need to make sure they don't get caught in a tough spot. If they let Pickens walk for nothing in 2026, that would be a massive loss. But if they lock him up and he continues to have off-field issues, that's a risk as well. It's a delicate balance, and the front office has a big decision ahead. Steelers fans, it looks like we don't have to worry about losing one of the greatest defensive players in franchise history anytime soon. Omar Khan recently spoke about Watt's future in Pittsburgh, and while he didn't reveal an exact timeline, he made it crystal clear. He expects T.J. to be a Steeler for life. Here's what Khan had to say. TJ's one of those legacy guys. I was around Hines Ward and Troy Polamalu. Those guys played their entire careers here, and that's a special thing. I'm hopeful and confident that T.J. will be one of those guys. That right there should ease a lot of concerns. There had been some whispers about whether the Steelers might consider trading Watt due to his massive contract and the team's cap situation. But that speculation was quickly shut down, not just by the front office, but by Watt himself. In a recent interview, Watt made his stance very clear. I want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. You guys know that. I don't want to leave this place. I want to be part of the solution. I've put so much into it here. Let's not forget, T.J. Watt isn't just any player. He's the heartbeat of this Steelers defense. Since entering the league in 2017, he's been a dominant force, racking up sack after sack and wreaking havoc on opposing quarterbacks. Yes, he had a bit of a down year in 2024, finishing with 5 sacks, his third lowest total in a season. But let's put that into perspective. The only other seasons where he had fewer sacks were his rookie year, 7.0, and 2022, 5.5, when he missed nearly half the season with a knee injury. And even in what some call a down year, 5 sacks still put him among the best pass rushers in the league. Now, let's talk numbers. Watt is currently on a 4-year, $112 million extension that he signed before the 2021 season, making him the highest-paid defensive player in NFL history at the time. Since then, he's been passed up by other contracts, but not for long. According to SpotTrack, Watt is projected to receive another 4-year extension worth $128.97 million, which would put him at around $32.2 million per year. Omar Khan didn't give a specific timeline for when this deal might get done, but he was clear that locking up Watt long-term is a priority. I don't want to get into details on that. It's been different depending on the circumstances. TJ's been a big part of this team. I'm confident and hopeful that he'll be here for a long time. This isn't just about keeping a fan favorite in Pittsburgh. This is about keeping the foundation of this defense intact. Watt is more than just a sack artist. He's a leader, a game changer, and the type of player who can single-handedly turn the tide of a game. Just look at the Steelers' record when Watt is on the field versus when he's not. The defense simply isn't the same without him. His presence forces offenses to change their game plans, and he makes everyone around him better. The Steelers have been built on dominant defenses for decades. This is a franchise that prides itself on players like Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Troy Polamalu, and now T.J. Watt. Letting a player of his caliber go would be a mistake, and thankfully, it looks like the front office understands that. The fact that the Steelers are prioritizing Watt's extension also says something about the team's direction. It shows that they're committed to maintaining a strong defense, even as they work to figure out their quarterback situation and add more firepower to the offense. And let's not forget, the AFC North is as competitive as ever. The Ravens are coming off a strong season. The Bengals have Joe Burrow, and the Browns' defense is no joke. If the Steelers want to stay in the hunt, they need T.J. Watt anchoring that defense for years to come. All right, Steelers Nation, now it's your turn. Should Pittsburgh take a flyer on Gardner Minshew as a backup quarterback? And what should the team do about George Pickens? Extend him now, let him play out his contract, or even consider trading him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a Steelers update. Until next time, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.